Okay, but
అరే మేము దాగం రా థర్స్డే రోజు నేను దాగరా పక్క నేను దాగరా నేను సాయిబాబాకు మొక్కున్నా ముడ్డ నేను దాగంది నీకు పైసలు ఎట్లా వస్తాయిరా ఇగో నీ ముడ్డ ఇగో 2000 తీస్తా ఓ లీటర్ తెచ్చుకుందాం అరే హీరో చూద్దాం రాకు నీ పేరు మీద మేము దాగుతాము అరే అరే మాధవ్ మళ్ళా రేపు ఛాన్స్ రాదు నీ ఇష్టం ఇగో మా అక్క కూడా ఆన్లైన్ లో వచ్చింది అందుకు అడుగుతున్నా
Kan wo tó ní pé ó wá fẹ́ láàrin làwọn ọ̀nà mo lè mọ̀ pé yóò lọ ti adúró ní ṣé nǹkan tí mo sọ yìí tó dẹ̀ sí ìpè because tó bá yẹ kán sá fún ẹ̀ wọ́n understand ìyẹn kan tí ò ń ṣe olówó nìyẹn tẹ́ kó síbẹ̀ lè gbà wálé kò yẹ rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣẹ̀bímọ first and second wọ́n ṣèlú sígbà náà tó first yẹn ọdún méjì ṣùgbọ́n ṣẹ̀lọ́pọ̀ ọdún mẹ́ta so grand wọn tí ẹ get ọlọ́run nìkan ọlọ́ba alára náà níwèé.
Sorry. Ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ń pẹ̀rẹ̀ wúlé ní ìwáyìn. Ti parí ẹ̀. Ibi tó ń kọ consumer kìíní kan yẹn tó fẹ́ ṣe yẹn náà ni. Difficult kìíní kan.
Nígbà tí mo ti kọ̀ yẹn síbi àdéhùn ìfọ́nsẹ̀ wọ́n ní kàá ní àkókò
I think not about. Not the
Hello everyone, am I audible? Okay, fine. So let's start. Okay, so basically, like in last class, we were talking about installation of each and everything. So installation of Anaconda, I would say. So fine, I'm assuming that everyone is able to install this Anaconda in their system, and everyone's system is ready. So we are not supposed to worry about any kind of installation this time. And in your dashboard, so basically, like I have like prepared all those things almost till Python. So your dashboard has been prepared except recording. So recording will be uploaded as per the class. So as your class will move, so I will keep on uploading up recordings basically over here in this recording section. So at any point of a time, you will be able to find out. So fine, let's try to start. So basically, like I have received many mails where people are saying that they are not able to get the recordings. So here is the recording which is available. So like we have taken two classes. One was the induction class. So induction class recording is available over here. If you will click over here, so many people said that they are not able to get this recording, so I don't think that so like if you will go over here, you will be able to see your recordings, you will be able to play it, you will be able to watch it at any point of a time. Now if I'm talking about the second recording is nothing but the class that we have taken on a first day, basically for the Python. So it's already available, and whenever I used to upload a recording, so I always give a date basically, so that it will be easier for you to trace each and every classes. So live class 27 Gen Python. So if you will click over here, so you will be able to see again our videos over here. So whatever installation like a Python installation class that we have done, so you will be able to find out in this place. So fine, again, this recording will be available. So within 24 hours of the classes. So suppose if I'm taking classes today, so before tomorrow, for sure recording will be available in your dashboard below this section. So fine, let's try to start. So in last class, so we have we discussed about the installation. We discussed about basic of notebook functionalities and all those things. So now in this class, I'm going to start formally with the Python. So Python is basically, I can say, scripting language, as well as Python supports OOPS programming language. So we'll see what is the OOPS programming languages. So first of all, let's talk about scripting. So what is Python, and then how Python interpreter try to execute your code. So Python is basically a scripting language. So you must have seen that in Java or in any other languages. So whenever you try to write something, so first of all, you try to create a classes, and then you try to create an object, and with the help of class and object, so basically you try to execute any kind of a logic inside Java. Or if I'm talking about a C++, if I'm talking about C, if I'm talking about a Scala, if I'm talking about some other languages, so in most of the languages, so first of all, you will have to create a classes. In most of the languages, not in all. So you have to create a classes, and then inside a class, so you will be able to write your logic. But here in Python, so both ways are possible. So without creating classes or with the help of classes also, you will be able to write your logic, and you will be able to execute any kind of a program. And apart from that, so like Python gives you a lots and lots of flexibility, I would say. So we'll try to understand that what kind of flexibility you will be able to get if you are using Python in general. So here you are able to see that suppose if I have to create a variable, so suppose I have to create a variable in which I have to store some data set. So variables are nothing but, I would say, a kind of an entity where you will be able to store some kind of a data, because if I have to do some execution, so I have to generate some data set, and when I'm generating some data set, so I have to keep it somewhere inside a memory, basically. So to keep something inside a memory at any point of time, so basically we used to create a variable. So suppose if I'm trying to create a variable called x, so x is equal to 6. So basically I have created this variable x is equal to 6, which is nothing but, I can say, a integer variable. So if I'm talking about some other classes, so if I'm talking about, I would say, some other programming languages, so in other programming languages, generally we used to write int x is equal to 6 or 9. So this is the procedure in which you try to write a variable, you try to assign a variable in other programming languages. But here in Python, so you are not supposed to give basically a data type. So Python try to understand each and every data type by itself. So you're not supposed to worry about anything at any point of a time whenever you're trying to create a variable inside a Python. So if I'm going to execute this code, so this code is going to give you an issue. So this code is saying that the syntax that I have written over here is invalid, because in Python, so you're not supposed to give a data type. So without giving a data type also, you will be able to store a data. So here I'm trying to store 6 basically. So again, if I'm trying to talk about the storage of the data set, so it's nothing but, so it stores, it creates a reservoir space, I would say. So this is nothing but a heap space or a stack space is trying to create. Here it is going to give variable name is equal to x, and then inside that it is going to store 6, I would say. So if I have to store 6 in this particular place, basically, so for sure this is how you will be able to store. So inside a memory, inside a main memory, or inside a RAM, I would say, not inside the hard disk. So inside the RAM it will be able to store this particular 6, and the reference for this particular 6 will be x, basically. So you have created a variable name called x, and inside that you're trying to store this value 6, and then at any point of a time, if I have to access this 6, I will be able to access 6. So maybe I can write x over here, or maybe I can take a new tab, and inside that I will be able to write x is x, and then I will be able to get a value is equal to 6. So here I'm not supposed to worry about like what kind of a data type I'm trying to store, because I will try to check that, okay, so what kind of a data type Python is trying to understand, and it will say that, okay, it's an integer. So basically I have created x, I have just stored one value inside this particular x, and if I'm trying to check type of x, so it is trying to tell me that type of x is equal to integer. I never said that x is equal to integer, so I have just defined a value. So this is how beautiful Python is. So Python understands most of the things by itself. So you are not supposed to define each and everything when you are using a Python. So simple again. So x instead of x, so maybe I can try to give my name over here, and again in this way, so it will be able to store a data set, and at any point of a time, if I'm trying to fetch this data, I will be able to fetch this data set, and I will be able to use it. So to fetch a data, so maybe you can try to type a variable name directly, or maybe what you can do is you can try to write print, and print what? Print this variable. And print is nothing but it's a function which will try to print a data in your console. Again, so here I'm using a type. So basically type is again a predefined function over here. So here what it will try to do is, so it will try to check what is a type of this particular x, or what is the type of this particular SUDH, basically. So type of SUDH is basically an integer. Now let's suppose if I'm trying to change this value to 6.89. Now if I'm going to execute it, automatically it is trying to understand that this time I have created a variable SUDH, and where a data type was float. So I'm not saying that what is a data type over here. I'm just trying to assign the data in this place, and system is trying to understand each and everything by itself. Now, so I can try to write true over here. So true is nothing but again a kind of a data type, or a data which is like a boolean data type. So if I'm going to execute it, so you will be able to understand that system is trying to tell me that, okay, so this is a boolean data type which I'm trying to understand, which I'm able to understand. Maybe I can try to store some string in this particular place. So whenever you're trying to store a string, or whenever you're trying to create a string, so you're supposed to enclose your string within a single quote or within a double quote. So here I'm trying to create a string So it's completely fine. If I'm able to execute it, so you will be able to see that yes, it is trying to understand each and everything by itself, and it's trying to tell me that this time, so I have stored basically a string, and this is the string data type. So if I'm going to like store the same thing inside a double quote, so again you won't face any issue at any point of a time. So I can try to store it, and yes, even this time, so it's basically a string, I can say. So these are the basic data type which you can create inside a Python, and then whenever you will try to check a type of that particular data, you will be able to get it. Now if I wanted to know the location, so the exact memory location in which it is trying to store this variable, so what I can do is, the method for doing that is id. So if I'm going to fire id and a variable name, so in that way I will be able to get a memory location. So this is the exact memory location in which it is trying to store this variable at this point of a time. So this is how it happens basically. So you will be able to get the exact memory location. This variable name which I have given over here, this is nothing but just a reference, I would say, or just a pointer, I would say. And here, so I'm trying to print this value. So again, that is completely fine. So I'm able to print this values. So all sort of things you will be able to perform over here. So here, as you can see, I'm just trying to give one example of each and every data type. So here I'm trying to create a float data type. I can say here I'm trying to create a Boolean data type. Here I'm trying to create a string. So again, in our childhood, so we must have studied about a complex number. So complex number is nothing but, I can say, like it's a combination of a real number and it's a combination of an imaginary number, basically. So a real number is nothing but a kind of a number which you will be able to represent on a scale, basically on a real-time scale. And imaginary number is just like a virtual number, I would say, which you will not be able to represent on a scale. And when we were talking about like I can say, so when we were talking about basically a complex number and imaginary number, so we have seen that whenever we have to denote, I can say like an imaginary number, so we use some representation, we use some of the labels, I can say. So here, J is basically a kind of a notation which is trying to notate that, so the second number, this number that you have taken, so basically this number is an imaginary part, and this number is nothing but it's a real part. So we have a complex number. So this is a real part of this complex number, and we have an imaginary part of this complex number. And I'm trying to represent this imaginary part with the help of a symbol, I can say a J. So you're not supposed to use any other symbol except J. You can try this out and you will find out that system is going to give you a syntactical error, basically. So here I'm trying to create a complex number. It's completely fine. I'm not saying that this is a complex number. I'm just trying to give a notation over here. And when I'm trying to check a type of that particular number, so it is trying to tell me that, okay, so type of this particular number is basically a complex number automatically. So I have never said that this is a complex number. System is trying to understand based on my notation. I can say if I'm trying to print this number, so yes, I'm able to print this number. So whatever number I have declared over here, so yes, I'm able to get this imaginary plus a real part of this number in this particular enclosed bracket, which is nothing but a notation for tuples, I can say. Separately, if I wanted to access a real part and if I wanted to access an imaginary part, I will be able to access both. So if I'm saying that x dot, so suppose if I have executed this, and suppose if I'm saying that x dot, so basically after x dot, if you wanted to know that what in all methods are available, so what you can do is you can try to press tab. So it is saying me that, okay, so imag is available. Imag is nothing but it's an imaginary part. So basically our imaginary part is minus 2.0. Yes, I'm able to fetch it. Basically, if I have to access basically a real part, so what I can do is I can try to write like a x dot, and then I can try to type real. And if I'm going to execute it, so find a real part was 1, and I'm able to get basically a real part as well as I'm able to get an imaginary part. So this is how you will be able to get basically a different section or different like a real part or imaginary part of a complex number. So it's very easy, I would say. So it's not a big deal. Most of the things has been like covered by, understood by, I can say, a Python interpreter itself. And like I said, so whenever I execute a code in this Jupyter notebook, so it never executes my code. So basically try to send my code to the backend. So whenever you have installed this Anaconda, so it has installed a Python compiler into a backend. So try to send this particular code into a backend, and then from there, so it is trying to execute a code, and then it is trying to send me an output in a Jupyter Notebook console, which I'm able to see. So this is how the whole execution happens. Apart from that, what you can do is, so if you wanted to, if you don't want to use a notebook, it's completely fine. If you don't want to use notebook, what you can do is you can try to go to your console and just type python over here, and you will be able to perform each and every operations even over here. I can try to write like x is equal to 2. If I want to access x, it's completely fine. If I want to check type of x over here, I will be able to do that as well. So you don't need even I can say Jupyter Notebook to execute a code. So even in my console, so I will be able to execute my code happily, and I will be able to get all sort of output. So don't worry about that. Like, okay, so each and every time, so we are supposed to type a code into a Jupyter Notebook itself. So there are many ways, I would say, in which you will be able to write a Python code and you will be able to get your output. So fine, in Jupyter Notebook, so it looks neat and clean. So that's the reason. So we are just using it, I would say, nothing else. So here again, so I'm trying to create an integer variable, as you can see. So it's completely fine. Here I'm trying to create a string variable. So again, it's completely fine, I would say. Now, so let's suppose what I'm trying to do is, so let's suppose I'm trying to create one string, SUDH. So that is completely fine. I will be able to do that. Now let's suppose what I'm trying to do is, so I'm trying to do like SUDH plus 4. So basically this plus operator is been used for concatenation. Concatenation means just a merging of two particular variables, I would say. So here, so I'm trying to do like SUDH plus 4. And if I'm going to execute it, so it is going to give me an issue. So it is going to tell me that can only concatenate str to str. You can't concatenate str to integer. This is what it is trying to say. So again, the way Python try to handle an error, or the way Python try to handle exceptions, is beautiful, I can say. So it will try to tell you clearly an exact reason that why it is not able to execute your code. So it is saying me that, okay, so you have a string and basically you have an integer, and that's the reason so I'm facing a problem to concatenate. So basically whenever you're trying to perform this concatenation operation, so both of this data should be into a particular format. So both of the data should have an identical format, I can say. So here we have a string. So again, if I'm trying to make these things as a string, in that way I will be able to perform a concatenation operation. So as you can see, so I'm able to perform this concatenation operation. So to convert something into a string, so either try to enclose that data into a single quotation or into a double quotation, or you can call this method and you will be able to do a typecasting. In both the ways, you will be able to get a same kind of output. So here I had a string and here I have again a string, and I'm trying to do a typecasting this time. Last time I have just enclosed my string within a single quote, and again in both the cases, so I'm able to get a same kind of a output. So Python always supports a strong typing. So whenever you're trying to perform certain operations, so your data should be in a same format. Unless and until your data is not available into a same format, you will not be able to execute it. You will not be able to get the final outcome, I can say. So this is, I can say, like how we will be able to create a variable, a different kind of variable, like an integer variable we have created, a Boolean variable we have created, I can say, a complex data type we have created, I would say, string data type we have created, I can say. And again, we have seen that whenever you're trying to perform the concatenation operation, so data should be available in a same format. Unless and until data is not available into a same format, you will not be able to perform this concatenation kind of operation. Now, so let's talk about this basically. So Boolean value evaluation. So as we know since our childhood that whenever you are trying to basically like perform and or operation, suppose if I'm talking about and operation, so if I'm talking about basically this and operation, so what happens is, so if I'm saying 0 and if I'm saying 0, so in case of AND operation, 0 0 0 will be 0. If I'm saying 0, if I'm saying 1, so 0 1 will always be equal to 0 in case of AND operation. Again, if I'm saying 1, if I'm saying 0, it will be 0, and in case of AND operation, 1 1 will be equal to 1. This is what we know since our childhood, I would say. So this is what we use to study, I can say, in case of an AND operation. In case of OR operation, so in case of OR operation, if I would say, so in case of OR operation, so 0, 0 will be 0, 0, 1 will be 1, 1, so I can say like 1, 0 is equal to 1 and 1, 1 is equal to 1 in case of OR operation. So this is the result of AND operation, this is the result of OR operation. So similar kind of operations you will be able to perform even with respect to a true and false or Boolean variable. So if I'm saying true and false, so basically true and false means 1 and 0 I'm talking about. So in that case 1 and 0, so it will be 0 for sure. So yes, I'm able to get a false. True or false, if I'm saying, so it means I'm saying 1 or 0. So 1 or 0 is equal to 1 and 1 and 0 is equal to 0, I can say. So yes, I'm able to get the similar kind of a result. If I'm saying not true, so negation of true is always be equal to false. So yes, I'm able to get that. If I'm saying that not false, so yes, not false is equal to true. So for sure, again, if I'm saying true is true, so again, true is true. Yes, it's correct. Again, if I'm saying true is false, so yes, true is false. So true is false. No, true is not false, basically. So that's the reason. So I'm able to get false result over here. If I'm saying A, so basically if I'm trying to compare A with A itself, so in this case, I'm able to get basically like, okay, fine, so it's true. Again, if I'm saying over here that a true plus true, so if I'm trying to say true plus true, so if I'm trying to perform a mathematical operation, I can say, so in that case, 2 plus 2 is equal to 2. If I'm saying that true plus false, so in that case, it will be equal to 1. 1 plus 0 is equal to 1, I can say. Now, if I'm trying to say a false plus false, now so it will be 0 in this case. If I'm trying to say that a false minus true, false minus, I can say over here, true. So in this case, you will be able to get minus 1 because this will be 0 and this will be 1. So it will be minus 1, I can say. If I'm trying to say true minus true, so in that case, yes, 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. So this is how a kind of a mathematical operation you will be able to perform on top of a Boolean values. So this is how you should understand this Boolean kind of relations, and you will be able to perform this mathematical operation in this particular case. Now, if I'm trying to use this static symbol, so basically which is a symbol for a multiplication. So if I'm saying that true into true, 1 into 1 is equal to 1, I would say. Now, if I'm trying to say false, so true into false is equal to 0. You will be able to see. Now, if I'm trying to give a division operation, so now if I'm going to give a division operation, true divided by false, so basically 1 divided by 0. So in this case, mathematically, it will be an infinite. So anything divided by 0 will be equal to infinity, basically. And in this case, so it is going to give you an issue. It is going to give you an exception that 0 division error. So in our exception handling class, we'll try to understand and we'll try to see that how we will be able to handle this division by 0 at any point of a time, basically. So these are the examples, these are the things, these are the basic things, I would say, these are the basic operations which is possible in case of a Python. So I think like we are good till this point. So if anyone is having any doubts, concern, confusion, so go for the question one by one. Yeah, go for the question.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
So like, where is this file? Like session 1.1 Python installation in basics, right? In the same file, it's like not showing all the codes which you are actually
No, so basically what we have done is, so whenever I used to explain something in my class, so I used to generally take only one like a notebook file. But if you will look into the code that I have uploaded over here, so you will be able to
like
see a breakdown of a same code into a multiple file. So you have to go through one by one each and every file. That's the reason. So I have given a number 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, and so on. Fine.
Okay, so it's different from yours and ours. So like we need
so
to
code
all
wise
the
it's
files.
same. Yeah, code wise
Yeah.
it's same, but we have broken down into a small bits and pieces so that it will be easier for you to like go ahead with each and everything, and you will be able to revise and you will be able to execute it. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Fine. So any other questions, anyone?
Sudhanshu, Abhishek here.
Go ahead.
Sudhanshu, when we are going to upload the assignments, so
Yeah.
basically that assignment would be that we have to copy paste the .pynb file from the Jupyter notebook, or we have to write it on the the terminal or in the
I think
the
last time we
Python.
talked about this assignment submission, right? Have you attended that class?
Yeah, right. That time my network was having some issues actually, so I
Okay, so
didn't.
you can go ahead with the recordings. I clearly said that. So basically, you have to solve all the assignments into a Jupyter notebook and upload it into a GitHub link, basically. And last time, I think I have asked even some guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Can others hear?
Shranshu, we are not able to hear you. I think we lost him.
He will come back, I think. Just right.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Anshu?
Guys, wait for some time. Connect.
Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, you
Yes.
are audible.
Okay,
Yes.
I think I just got disconnected because of some disturbance. Yeah. So basically, yeah, go ahead with the question. So I think I was talking about like I was 6 questions. So basically, he said that he how to submit assignments, right? So basically, like complete each and everything into your Jupyter notebook and then submit it inside your GitHub link. And same GitHub link you are supposed to copy and paste in this assignment section. So due date is given as a February 8, and it's a very small assignment which I have uploaded. So I think after today's class, so you will be in a position to attempt that assignment. So you can go to submit assignment and you are just supposed to submit your URL over here and done. That's it. This is what you are supposed to do in case of assignment submission. So I think I'm making sense very well. Yeah. So any other questions? Anyone? Technical questions?
Sudhanshu, please here.
Go ahead one by one.
Sudhanshu, when you send the invite for any of these classes, can you, the meeting invite, can you tell us like what all topics you'll be covering that will help us?
I think I have already given a sequence, ma'am, over here, right? So we are not supposed to tell that thing like what all topics we are going to cover, because I will always follow the base, and that's the reason. So I have given a dashboard over here, listed down the topics in a very clear format over here, that what all topics we are going to cover. I think we are following the same thing, right? So in the first class we have done the installation. In second class we are talking about these things. Again we'll talk about these things. Again we'll talk about these things, and same sequence. So I uploaded all the code, right? So I think like it's a self-explanatory things that we have done in this place. Yeah. So yes. Next question. Anyone?
What is the shortcut for running the command?
What is the
Shortcut.
shortcut is basically shift enter. So basically shift enter, shift enter, shift enter. Keep on doing the shift enter and you will be able to execute it. Yeah, shift enter.
Okay, what is the shortcut for getting the methods? For example, imaginary and real methods.
So what is the shortcut for?
Getting the methods. X dot.
Okay, so basically suppose if this is the variable which I have created, name variable 1, right? If I wanted to know that what all methods are available with respect to this variable, this is a string variable, right? So what you are supposed to do is after dot press tab and you will be able to press tab. Simple.
Yes, thank you.
Just try to make these things as a habit. I think you will be able to like get acquainted with, get familiar with all those things very easily and very soon, I would say. And I will be keep on using all those things in the class itself. Yeah. So yeah, next question.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
how much memory all these data type take in Python? Like if we
In
talk
general,
about
yeah. So in general, I would say integer depends upon the kind of a compiler that you are using. So there are a different version of the Python compilers, Python, Jython, and all those things is available. So it depends on that. I would say like a integer 4-bit, a 4 byte. I would say the string again. It is going to take a 4 byte. I would say 4 byte. I would say double 8 byte. I would say. So in this way, it will keep on taking the different kind of a. I can say a very or memory space. But if I talk about a NumPy is another class into a Python. So you will be able to see that inside NumPy, we will be able to create basically a 16-bit integer, 32-bit integer, 64-bit integer. So again, there is a separation. So in Python, so variable is not defined or data type is not defined in such a way that it is going to take a constant memory space. It changes with respect to a library. So you will be able to find out a variety of an integer itself, variety of the string itself inside a Python into a different bits. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to know what is the REST API? Is it a kind of the deployment?
So as of now, we are not going to talk about REST API. REST API is a part of your curriculum. So whenever it will come into picture, we'll talk about that. If you have any concern with respect to the topics that we are talking about, you can ask question. You can ask any other question in your doubt clearing session.
Yes, hello, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, regarding Python, I see that there is no type safety checking.
There is no
type safety.
Which statement?
Type safety, I'm saying. You can assign a particular variable any kind of value. For example, you assign x equal to 6.
Yes, yeah, we can do that.
As a developer, do we need to maintain that type safety?
Which one?
As a developer, do we need to perform the type safety checks in our code?
No, you're not supposed to do that. Python always try to perform all of those things from its end, basically.
Okay,
so as for the type safety, you're not supposed to check from your end as a developer.
Okay, so do we have any kind of exception or error that we get once we assign some different data type to a particular variable?
No, you will not be able to get a kind of an error unless and until you are not defining any kind of a data type which Python is not able to understand, I would say. So that's the reason. So I have given you this kind of example. So again, if you want, I can give you this example. Suppose if I'm trying to create one variable A, and if I'm trying to say that, okay, so try to store this data, right? So try to store a string plus integer. It will not be able to understand that. And in that case, it will be able to give you this type error automatically, basically, right? So this is how Python used to deal each and everything. So type safety wise, you're not supposed to think about anything in terms of Python, because Python takes care of these things.
Cool.
Yeah, any other question? Anyone?
Yeah, I had a question.
I
had a question again for the assignment. I saw that you uploaded an assignment. So after today's class, we will be able to do assignment, right?
Yes, yeah. So assignment one that I have uploaded over here. So after today's class, so you will be able to do that.
Cool, cool. And February 8th is the due date, right?
Yeah, February 8th. So before February 8th, so you are supposed to submit the assignment. Otherwise, we'll deduct a mark. So marks for this assignment is 20 points. So for a different assignments, so you will get a different points, and you will be able to get a different time as well. So for this assignment, so suppose if I have given 1 week of time or 10 days of time, so maybe for some of the assignments you will get just 4 days or 5 days of time. For some assignment you will get 15 days of time as well. So it depends upon the complexity of the assignment. Some assignment I'm going to upload with the 10 points, 20 points, some assignment with the 100 points, some assignment with the 2000 points you will be able to get. So again, it completely depends upon the kind of a complexity.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Can I improve the score by resubmitting the assignment?
Sorry?
Can I improve the score by resubmitting the assignment?
No, I don't think so.
Sudhanshu Shiv here. Well, the EDA is a part of this course.
Yeah, EDA I have already mentioned that, right, in your if you will look into your dashboard, so basically EDA has been already mentioned over here. Attend EDA in very detail. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Moving ahead. So now let's try to understand few more things inside a Python. So let's try to see that. So fine. Now, so let's talk about basically a simple kind of a statement inside a Python, like how we'll be able to write any kind of a conditions, how we'll be able to write any kind of a loop inside a Python, because these are the things which you will be able to figure out, which you will be able to find in almost every languages, I can say. So whether I'm talking about a Python or I'm talking about some other languages, you will be able to find out a similar kind of a structure everywhere, I can say. So if else kind of a statement. So if else kind of a statement is a very common statement you will be able to find out in all the languages. So whether you're talking about a shell scripting, Java, C, C#, .NET, everything, everywhere. So here again inside a Python, so you have a similar kind of a statement which is available, where you will be able to write your own condition basically, and based on your own condition you will be able to execute any kind of a work. So yeah, these are just a basic statement which I have mentioned as of now, but when you will try to build a project, whenever you will try to do a complex coding, so you are going to use each and everything at the same point of time. So whatever basic things we are going to talk about. So here, so I'm going to assign one variable a. Let's suppose a is equal to 9. So fine, I have just assigned a variable a is equal to 9. System will be able to understand that a is basically a integer. Now I can write a condition basically. So I can write like a if and else basically over here. So I can say that if basically a is lesser than, let's suppose if a is lesser than, I can say 3. So if a is lesser than 3, then do this, means try to print that this is a correct variable, I can say. So if I'm going to execute it, so as of now you have seen that I have executed this code, but still it is not trying to print anything for me, because what happens over here is, so we have taken a value of a is equal to 9 in this particular place, and when we are trying to say that if a is lesser than 3, so 9 is lesser than 3, which is nothing but it's a false. So basically if statement always try to check based on the Boolean value, so it returns basically true or a false. So a is lesser than 3, no, it's false. Basically a is not lesser than 3. So in that case it will not try to execute this set of a code whatever you have written inside this if statement. That's a problem that you are going to face. So unless and until this condition is not going to return, I can say, a true value, it will not be able to get into, I can say, a next statement. Once this statement will be valid, then only it will be able to get into our next statement. Otherwise it's not possible. So it's completely fine. So what I'm going to do is, so I can say that okay fine, so if a is lesser than 3, do this, means print this, or maybe you can try to write any other code as well. So any line of a code you can write over here. So you can write maybe a is equal to, or a is equal to 6. So I'm just trying to do a reassignment operation over here. So if a is lesser than 3, do one thing. So now try to change this a is equal to 6. So it will try to override basically a is equal to 6. But here you have seen that it will not be able to get into this particular statement, because this statement is going to return me a false. So in that case it is not going to print anything, although it is not going to like give me any kind of an error, because it is just trying to check the condition. Now what I can do over here is, so I can try to write a condition called else. So if it is not able to get into the body of if, I would say this part. So now do one thing. So if that is not correct, then print here else, I would say. So here you will be able to see very clearly that if it is not able to get into this statement, so it will come to else, means which is the alternative one, I would say. So if this is not true, so fine, do one thing, get into this one. Now let's suppose if I have written that if a is greater than 3, if I have changed the condition, so yes, 9 is greater than 3, which is true basically. So if I'm going to execute it, so this time you will be able to find out that this condition was true, and because this condition was true, so this is getting inside this particular print statement, and yes, it is trying to print this value. And now if I'm trying to print basically, so suppose if I'm trying to print a, so you will be able to see that it has overridden the value of a. So value of a initially which I have assigned was 9, and this time it is trying to print the value is equal to 6, because it was into this particular body, and when it was inside this particular body of his if statement, so it has overridden the value of a, and I'm able to find a value of a is equal to 6 in this particular case. So this is how I can say if else statement works. So you will be able to write any kind of a condition, and if condition is going to return true, so only in that case it will get inside the body, and whatever work you have assigned, whatever kind of a code you have written inside the body of that particular statement, it will be able to execute it. Otherwise, it will look for some alternative. If some alternatives are available, in that case, it will be able to print that one. It will be able to execute those things. Otherwise, it will not give you an error, and it will not give you any outcome as well at that point of a time. Now, so in any other programming languages, whenever you try to write this kind of a statement, so in general, we use a curly bracket. So as a beginner into a Python, so you are going to face this kind of a issue. I would say indentation issue you are going to face. Everyone does that. Even when I was trying to write a Python code for the first time, so even I have faced, because I belong from a Java background, and like I have written so much of code into C, C++, Java and Scala, these 4 languages. And when I was trying to migrate, so yes, in those languages, basically you will be able to find out a curly braces, and within a curly braces, so we try to write all the codes, but there is no concept of a curly braces which is available inside a Python. So basically there is a concept of indentation that you are supposed to maintain at any point of time, and if you are not able to maintain an indentation, so even in that case, it is going to give you an issue. It is going to give you an error. So fine, let's try to understand those things by taking example. So I'll just remove this one. So I'm not using this else statement. So let's suppose what I have done is, so suppose if I'm going to miss this particular column. So if I have just written a condition, if I'm going to execute it, so it is trying to tell me that this syntax is basically invalid. And this syntax is invalid at this point of a time. So here the syntax is invalid. So you have to do something in this place, basically. So here, whenever you will try to write like a if else kind of a statement, so whenever you are trying to start the indentation, you are supposed to give a colon. Colon is the only option which you can opt for. So now here I'm trying to give a colon, and after that, whatever code I'm going to write, so yes, it will be indented, I can say, along with the if statement or any other statement which I'm going to write. So suppose if I'm not giving a colon, if I'm going to hit enter, so it is going to throw my cursor into a first page, which is wrong, I would say. But again, if I'm going to manage, if I'm going to give this indentation over here, if I'm going to hit enter, so now it is going to give me a proper indentation from where I should start my code, I can say. So this is the indentation of a if statement, and in this label you are supposed to write a code. So whatever you have to write, so you have to write after this one, I would say. Again, so at any point of a time, suppose if I'm trying to maintain one space in this place, let's suppose if I'm trying to maintain this space, if I'm going to execute it, so even in this case, it will be fine, and it is not going to complain, I would say. So I'm just giving one space over here, but it's always recommended to give a tab instead of using a space, I would say. So tab is a default indentation which it try to take, and in this way, so your code will look more formatted, and then it will look beautiful, I would say here. So whenever you're trying to write a Python code, so always make sure that you manage an indentation. If you're not going to manage an indentation, you are going to face a lots of issue as a beginner. And this is what I'm trying to do in case of if statement. Now you can write a statement in this way, or else you can try to include this statement within a bracket, and even this will be fine. So this is completely fine. I'm able to write my condition. You can write multiple condition over here one by one. So the notebook that I've shared with you, so in that notebook you will be able to find a multiple if statement, and if statement with a multiple conditions you will be able to find out in your notebook, which has been uploaded in your particular canvas. So fine. So here now, so I was just talking about this if statement. Now, so I can write basically elif. Suppose if I have to write a multiple condition, so one condition is not sufficient for me. I wanted to write a multiple condition basically. So there is a keyword called as elif that you will be able to use after if statement, I can say. So because else statement is something which is a default statement. So if nothing is going to work, then do come into a else statement, I would say. But if I have to write a multiple condition, let's suppose if I'm saying that, okay, fine. So if A is lesser than 9 or lesser than equal to 9. So in this case, basically, I'm trying to say that print get inside elif. So I can try to execute this one, and I found out that, okay, so my condition was valid over here, and in this case, it is not getting inside this one. So if this one condition is valid, so it will try to go inside that particular method, it will try to execute it, and then it will try to come out. Now, if I'm going to change this logic, now if I'm going to execute it, so this time this condition was invalid. So because of that, it will not try to get into a body of this condition if statement, but it is able to get inside the elif, I would say. And whatever I have written inside elif, so it is able to print all of those things. So you can use if, you can use elif, and all together. So if you wanted to write something, so if nothing is going to work, if is not going to work, if elif is not going to work, then do this, I would say. So I would say that, okay, fine. So print this default statement, and it's completely fine. So if I'm maybe trying to write like a is lesser than or A is, I can say, lesser than 7. So in this case, so none of this condition will be valid. So this condition will be false, and this condition will be false. And in this case, false show by default it will come to this condition and is going to print. So this is how this if else kind of a statement happens. And again, I have given you this example. If you will look into your notebook, so I have given you multiple examples over here, and you can go through those things. Now, so that is all about an if else statement. So going forward in a future, so you are going to write a lots and lots of complex if else kind of a statement. You will be able to figure out, and you are going to use it frequently in almost every implementation of a Python code. Now, so let's talk about a basic data structure into Python. So the first data structure that you are going to implement or that you are going to encounter into Python is a list. So you might have heard about an array, basically. So whenever we talk about a Java, Scala, or C#, or C++, so we always talk about an array. And we always talked about a linked list. So if you're coming from the programming background, basically. So here inside a core Python, there is no such provision or there is no such concept for an array you will be able to find out inside a core Python. If you will talk about a NumPy package, so over there inside a NumPy packages, you will be able to find out an array, which is called as a ND array, n-dimensional array. So which we are going to talk about, which we are going to discuss in our NumPy classes. But here inside a core Python, you will not be able to find out such things. So here inside a Python, so you will be able to find out something called as a list. So let's try to understand that what is the meaning of list, what in all things we will be able to do it, we will be able to perform it with the help of list operation and everything. So basically, list is a primitive data type, or I can say like a list is a data structure which exists inside a core Python. And inside a list, you will be able to store any kind of a heterogeneous element at any point of a time. And you will be able to do any kind of a data manipulation as well if you are using a list. So here I'm trying to create a list. There are basically two ways by which you will be able to create a list, I would say. So fine, let's try to understand it and let's try to see that how we'll be able to create a list. So one way by which you will be able to create a list is, so just take a variable. So L is just a notation which I have given. You can try to take my name or your name, doesn't matter. Suppose if I'm trying to create a variable with my name and I'm trying to give this open and close square bracket over here. If I'm going to execute it, that is completely fine. It is not going to complain anything. And if I'm going to check a data type of this one, so it is going to tell me that this time the variable that I have created the data type of this particular variable is a list. So again, I'm not saying that this is a list. I have just given a notation. And like I said, so in Python, you are not supposed to talk about a data type. Python understands all of those things by itself. So you're not supposed to worry about that. So here it's completely fine. So I'm trying to take a list. As you can see over here, I have created an empty list in this particular place, and I'm trying to check a type of this, and yes, I'm able to get the type now. So if I'm talking about the another way of creating a list, so maybe I can try to take another variable sudh1, and then there is a function called as list, and if I'm trying to use these things even in this way, I will end up creating basically a data which is a list. So if I'm going to check a type of sudh1, you will be able to see that it's a list that I'm able to get it. If I'm trying to print these two variables one by one, so if I'm going to print sudh, so it will be a blank list. If I'm going to print sudh1, so even in this case, it will be a blank list. As of now, so I have not inserted any kind of a data set or data inside this list, and that's the reason. So it is trying to give me a blank. Now, like I said, so list is basically a data structure which will be able to hold any kind of and any number of the data inside it, I can say. So here we have a list, as you can see, SUDH, and let's suppose if I wanted to keep a data inside this one, so I will be able to keep it. I can try to keep maybe an integer, I can try to keep maybe a floating point number, I can try to keep maybe in like a Boolean value, I can try to keep maybe my title over here, like a string, I will try to keep. That is completely fine. I will be able to hold any kind of a data, like I said, a heterogeneous data within a list, and at any point of a time I will be able to extract all of those data set. So SUDH, if I'm going to execute it, so you will be able to see that yes, I'm able to get all the list data which I have stored inside this SUDH variable. So that is completely fine. I'm able to store it and I will be able to access it. So I'll show you how to access all of those data set. So here I have created just a very simple list by using a simple square bracket. And even in this case, if I'm going to check a type of this one, so you will be able to find out that it is going to give me basically a list type. So yeah, it's basically a list. Now, so I was talking about another way of creating a list. So here we have a list as a function. Now, even inside that, so inside a bracket, so what I can do is I can try to keep any kind of data. I will be able to keep any kind of a value inside this one, and I will be able to get this data at any point of a time. So if I'm going to write like SUDH1, I will be able to get this list. And yes, it's completely fine. I'm able to get this list in front of me. So this is how you will be able to create this variable. Now, so this is all about creating a variable, I would say. There are so many things and so much things we are going to talk about in terms of a list going forward. So we have a separate class itself just to talk about a list. Now, so if this is a list that we have internally, whenever we say that we are trying to store a data, so we try to store a data in terms of indexes. So index is going to start from a 0, 1, 2, I can say 3, I can say 4, 5, and so on. So this is how list is going to store the data. Sorry, I just forgot my pen today, so that's the reason. So I'm just using mouse, and that's the reason. So like this handwriting doesn't look good. So yeah, generally in every classes, so I was using pen, digital pen that I have, but yeah, today I just forgot. So here, whenever I'm talking about like a list into a reverse direction, so in reverse direction, so it try to store a data by using this indexes -1. I can say a -2, I can say like a -3 over here. So this is how in reverse direction it will be able to give the indexes, and into a forward direction this will be the indexes that it is going to use. So fine, this is the indexes into a forward direction, this is the indexes into a reverse direction. So what we will try to do is, so we will try to extract a data based on the indexes. So let's suppose if I'm trying to get a data from the index 5 basically. So on index 5, we have a data Kumar, which is available. So I can say that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at index 5, this is the data which is available. So if I'm trying to say that this is the list variable SUBH and get me a data from index 5. So yes, I'm able to get that data from the index 5. Now if I'm saying that, okay, fine, so get me a data from the index 3, I will be able to get that data. Suppose if I'm saying that get me a data from index -1, I will be able to get the data, because we know that in a reverse direction, -1, -2, -3, and so on, it try to consider, and in a positive direction, so it generally try to consider 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is how it is going to store a data in terms of any of these collections or any of this list element, I would say. Now let's suppose if I'm looking for a data starting from 2 to, maybe starting from this 2 to true, basically. So index for 2 is equal to, I can say, so it's 1, and index for this true is nothing but it's a 4. So suppose if I'm looking for a range of the data, I will be able to get that. So I can write like starting indexes over here. So if I'm trying to say that, okay, fine, so fetch me a data starting from the index 1 till index 4, if I'm going to execute it, so you will be able to find out that it is trying to give me a data starting from index 1 till 4, but except 4. So it will never try to consider an upper bound. So it is trying to give you a data starting from the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I have to write like give me a data set till index 4, so in that case I'm supposed to give index is equal to 5, because we know that it will try to not consider this upper bound indexes that we have in this place. So yes, in this way I will be able to fetch a data set. If I have to fetch a data, maybe suppose if I'm trying to fetch a data one after another, basically. So here you will be able to find out that I'm trying to give a starting point, here I'm trying to give an end point, basically, and it will always try to take end point -1. So it will always try to go to upper bound, but except upper bound. It will never consider upper bound when it will try to give you an outcome. So now if I wanted to give you a data, ordinary data set, so maybe what I can do is I can try to write like a 2 over here. So if I'm saying 2, so what will happen in this case is, so it will start from 1, it will go till 5, except 5, I can say, and here it will try to take an alternative, means after first it will try to fetch a data set third, after third it will try to fetch a data set fifth, but fifth is the upper bound, basically. So in that case it will just try to give you a data first and 3. So this is called as a list slicing operation, which we are going to talk about in very detail in our next slide. Like I said, so like in a list, so we have a lots of functions, we have a lots of methods that we are supposed to discuss. So we'll talk about list slicing in every possible way with respect to a real-time scale, and you will be able to get all those ideas. So far so forth, anyone who is having any concerns, so please go for your doubts, we'll try to clarify.
Yeah, hi Sudhanshu.
Go ahead.
I'm having this doubt from a list if and else question.
Okay.
Like for one if for if a equal to 9 is greater than 9, we did if if a is less than 3.
Okay.
After this we use elif, right?
Yes.
Instead
Yeah.
of that, if I could use only if statement, then that also is correct, right?
Okay, so if I'm going to use only if condition, let's suppose, right? So basically what happens over here is, so you will try to consider that, okay, so this is one if statement and this is a separate if statement, basically.
Correct.
So this is the start of separate statement itself. This is not a part of the previous one. So we will try to consider basically that we have written 2 code over here. One is this block and one is this block. But if I'm trying to use elif, so in that way it will be able to understand that, so this elif is also a part of the first block, means the code is having a similar sequences. So that's the reason. So you should not use if again. So instead of using that, so you can go ahead with elif, so that it will be a part of same block. Making sense?
Yeah, correct.
Hi there.
And
My
also
question
one more
is
question.
Yeah.
I have one more question from list.
Go ahead.
We have we did indexing in list, right?
Yeah.
Okay, suppose I want to reverse the list, then how to do it?
Okay, so like I said, so we have to talk about lots and lots of things in terms of, I can say, list, right? So as you have asked the question, so fine, I would like to answer this question. This is how you will be able to reverse it. But yeah, how this is going to happen, I'll talk about that in your next section. But yeah, you are looking for this list, right? A reverse of
yes,
list.
correct. So
Yeah,
this
so
first,
that is possible.
this
But yes, I'll tell you why, like how with the help of this one, so it is able to reverse these things.
I mean, can I say something like this? Before first column is our starting index. This middle one is our end index, and this is my jump, right?
Yeah, jump actually in positive direction or into a negative direction. So, like I said, I'll talk about that with
Okay.
respect to the scale, and then I think you will be having a better understanding. As of now, I just talked about how to declare a list. That's it. Yeah.
Hi there. My question is from list, and can we provide? Can we do list slicing on simple variable, string variable?
Yes, you will be. So, string variable like this one.
Yes.
Okay, so I think this variable is a part of this list, right? So, are you looking for something else? Some other example?
Simple string variable. Can we do list slicing on simple variable, like if we want only 3 characters from the first one?
So, if we want only 3 capital from the which data set you are looking for, just tell me. I'll give you the data.
Simple my name. You can say that.
Just tell me from this list which data you are looking for. What is the input and what is the output that you are looking for? I'll write a code for that.
Kumar is a name, and I want first 3 letters.
So you want KUM from here?
Yes.
This is what you're looking for?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, fine, not a problem. So I can write like a CTH -1, which is going to give me a Kumar, and then so out of Kumar, so basically you're looking for first 3, right? So maybe I can write like a 02 or maybe just column 4. Fine.
Sure.
So how it is going to happen, I'll talk about that. Like I said, so there is so many things to so many things we have to discuss with respect to a slicing operation. So yeah, don't worry about that. As of now, whatever you are looking for, so just tell me, I'll give you those things.
Sudhanshu, can you please explain that 152, the earlier code, what you have done on that list?
So 152, right? Okay, so basically what happens is, so list always try to store a data set in terms of indexes. So if I'm talking about a positive indexes left to right, so in that case, indexes will start from a 0, it will go till basically like a n. So whatever is the number of the element that we have, n plus 1, n -1. So here, if I have to basically fetch a data set, so what I can do is I can try to write my starting point. So basically, RTPOINT, you are supposed to write first of all, and then you can write an end point, and then you can try to write maybe a jump. So this is how it works. This is how it behaves basically. So if someone is looking for a slicing, so what you can write is a list, whatever list name you have. So as of now, we have like a CUDH over here. From where to where I have to fetch the data. So let's suppose I'm looking for like a data fetch operation from our 0th indexes. So maybe I'm looking for 1, 2, 3. These are the data set that we are looking for. So basically the indexes for 1 will be 0, indexes for 2 will be 1, indexes for 3 will be 2. So this is the indexes which I have. Now, so if I have to fetch a data till this point, so what I'm supposed to do is, so I'm supposed to start from the 0th, I'm supposed to go till 4, or maybe I'm supposed to go till 3, basically. Because we know that it always try to override, or it always try to avoid, I can say, the upper boundaries, I can say. So here we have a 3, so it will not try to give you a data set till 3. So it is going to give you a data set, I can say, only till a second indexes. So 0, 1, and 2. So from a 0th indexes, from the first indexes, and from the second indexes. So yes, I'm able to fetch a data over here. Now, so by default, the jump will be equal to 1. Means, so it will try to give you a data one after another from the other indexes. Now, so if I'm looking for a data from the alternative indexes, so maybe I can try to write jump like a 2. So I can write like a 3, I can write like a 10, whatever you want, you can give it as a jump. So in this case, what will happen is, so it will start from the 0th indexes, but it will not try to give you our data from the second index, means first indexes, I would say. So after 0, so first will come into picture. So it will not give you a data set from the 1th indexes. It will try to do 0 plus 2. So 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. So from second indexes, it is going to give you a data, and this is the outcome that you will be able to get. So from 0th indexes, we are able to get 1, and from second indexes, we are able to get 3. Now, so 2. So location for 3 is equal to 2, I would say. Now, so 2 plus 2 is equal to basically a 4. Now, so our upper boundary is given as 3, so it will not give you any data set, and then this is the final result that you will be able to receive. If you are confused with respect to 1 to 3, what you can do is, so it will always be better, like if you are going to store this X, Y, Z over here, and then you can try to store A, B, C in this particular place. So you can try to store like a string variable, and then you can try to perform a similar kind of operation in this particular place. So A, B, C, maybe I can try to write like a PQR in this place, PQR, if I'm going to execute it. So as you can see that I have written, start from a 0th location, go till 3rd location, and try to take a jump of 2 into a positive direction, I can say. And here is the data set that I'm able to get, XYZ and PQR. So XYZ and PQR is the data that I'm able to receive. I have given jump is equal to 2, so I'm not able to get this ABC over here. If I'm going to remove this one, yes, I'm able to get all those things. Or else what I can do is, I can write like column 1, and even in this case, it is going to give me a same result. So I think it's fine, right?
The trainer is just joining in. There was a glitch.
Hello?
So he had some technical issues and he's just joining in. Just allow him 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, Ved Prakash, right? So which trainer you're looking for? I have already joined, I think.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead with your question.
How can we iterate the list?
Okay, I'll talk about that. So we have not discussed a for loop, right, as of now.
Yes.
So fine. Whenever we'll talk about a for loop, so I'll tell you like how to iterate. Yeah.
Hi, Sudhanshu. The strings and lists are mutable or?
Sorry?
The strings and lists, these are mutable or immutable? Means, is there any condition like that?
Okay, so what is your understanding about mutability and immutability?
It's about memory management.
No. I'm talking about definition actually. So what is your understanding about mutability and immutability? How do you understand that things are mutable or immutable?
Okay, if it is creating new object, whenever you are updating, then it is immutable, I think.
Okay, so suppose if I'm trying to say that in case of immutability, suppose if I'm saying that SUDH, right? SUDH is a list which I've created, right? So suppose if I'm trying to assign a list over here, and here if I'm trying to change the data, right? So can you say that it's immutable things?
Yeah, you can change that, but how it is handling inside? Means it is creating new object or inside existing object it is
modifying. So do you think that this is called as a mutability property?
No, I don't have an idea about this one.
Then we'll talk about
in
that.
Java.
Yeah, so in Java or any other languages, the property which you are talking about, mutability and immutability, these are the same properties. So again, represented into a same way. So I will talk about whether list is a mutable, string is a mutable, tuples is a mutable or not. So I'll talk about each and everything. Yeah, like I said, so we are having so many things to discuss in that.
Yeah, great.
Sudhanshu Sagar.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want, can you just repeat that jump follow thing once again? I think I'm not able to grab it properly.
Okay, so basically what happens is, suppose this is the list that we have, right? Now, so we are trying to iterate over this list starting from 0 to 7. So we are able to get all the data sets. So whatever data we have inside a list, I'm able to get all the data. That is not a concern, right? Now let's suppose, so this data set is available at 0th indexes. This data set is available at first indexes. This data set is available at second indexes. This is third, this is fourth indexes, right? Now let's suppose I'm looking for a data from 0th indexes. I'm looking for a data from this second indexes. I'm looking for this data from this indexes, right? I don't want this data. Whatever data we have in between, so I'm not looking for those data sets basically. So in that case, what I can do is I can try to write like a step is equal to 2. So whenever I'm saying that a step is equal to 2, so we have given a starting point is equal to 0. So starting point is equal to 0. That is completely fine. It will start from here, right? Now it will go till 7th indexes. So fine, whatever 7th indexes we have, it will go till that one. it will try to take a jump of 2. So it will start from 0. Now, so ideally it should go to first indexes, but it will not go to first indexes. It will start from 0. So 0 plus 2 basically. So 0 plus 2 is equal to 2. So it will try to go into second indexes. Now 2 plus 2. So 2 plus 2 is equal to basically a 4, I would say. So it will try to go to fourth indexes. So this is how it will go to each and every indexes, and then it will try to print the data. And this is the data set that you will be able to receive. So I think it's making sense now, right?
But FS, DF is not defined anywhere, right?
Here I have overridden, right?
Okay, below. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Moving ahead.
Yeah. Hey Sudhanshu, like, do you think like we need to parallelly practice whatever you're teaching us? Like,
it will be better if you can practice. The one thing that I'm discussing so much things in a single slot, and like whenever we used to start a classes, so initially I'll go slow. So yeah, for a couple of the weeks you will be able to find out that we are moving very slow, and then we'll try to like pick a speed. This is what we used to follow in every classes.
okay,
So
so currently, currently you suggest that simultaneously we do practice.
it depends upon your will. Yeah, so it will be advisable.
Okay. Okay.
Sudhanshu, I have a query. Hello.
Okay, moving ahead. So here, so as you can see, like we are trying to create a list in this case, and in this list, so we are trying to accommodate basically all the characters, as you will be able to find out. Here again, like we are trying to store a character plus integer. Here I'm trying to store basically like a list inside a list function. I'm trying to call in this particular place. So that is completely fine. I'm able to perform each and every operations inside a list. I'm just trying to create a list. I'm able to do that. Now here you will be able to find out some strange things. So here what I'm trying to do is, so I'm trying to call this function, which is list, and inside this list function, so I'm trying to provide a string this time. So A, B, C, D, E, F, all those things I'm trying to provide. So whenever you are trying to provide a string inside a list as a function, you will be able to find out that it always try to break down your string into a character, and this is what it has done. So whenever I'm trying to store a string inside a list function directly, so it is trying to return a list, which is completely fine, but it is trying to return a list of the character. But if I'm going to enclose these things within a square bracket, so in that case, you will be able to find out different things over here. So if I'm going to enclose these things inside the square bracket, this time it is trying to give me a list of a string, whatever string that I've created. But if I'm going to remove it, so it will try to convert my string, I would say, into a piece of character or into a list of the character. And this is what happens in case of a list at any point of a time. So if you are going to pass list as a function, if you are going to pass some of the iterable object, so it behaves like an iterator, and it will try to break down into bits and pieces, and then whatever is remaining, you will be able to get it. Like if I'm going to pass a string, so I will be able to get a list of the characters over here. So this is one of the strange things you will be able to encounter in case of list as a function. Now, so let's suppose I'm trying to create a list over here, and I'm trying to create basically an empty list in this particular place, as you can see. Now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to call list.append. So I'm trying to call this function append. So basically I'm trying to insert this particular B, or I'm trying to append this B inside a list. So with the help of this functions, you will be able to append this element inside a list. So inside a list, you will be able to append a B over here, as you can see in this place. I'm trying to append C in this place. So let me comment this out, the third statement, and then I will be talking about just first two statement and then third. So as you can see, it has appended B, it has appended C. So B first, and then it has appended C. Now at any point of a time, whatever things I wanted to append, I will be able to append. Suppose if I'm trying to say that list dot append over here. So now if I'm trying to append maybe a list itself, suppose if I'm trying to give one of the list, 1, 2, 3, if I'm trying to append. So as you can say over here that it is trying to append an entire list itself within a list. So within a list, we are trying to create a list, you can say over here. So basically whenever you will try to call this append operation, so it tried to append a data on a tail. So at the tail point, so it will try to append a data. Now, so here you will be able to find the definition. So now if suppose you're trying to write some methods or maybe some default methods you're trying to use and you don't know that what this method is going to do. So if you wanted to know that what this method is going to do, what you can do is shift and tab. So if you're going to press shift and tab, so in that way you will be able to find out a definition of that particular method. So it is trying to say that, okay, fine, append object to the end of the list. And again, Python maintains a documentation of each and every method in a beautiful way, I would say. So whatever method you're looking for, so for everything, definition is already given inside a Python library itself. So just shift and tab inside that method, you will be able to get the definition. So you're not supposed to remember anything. I don't recommend that approach. Now, so here I'm trying to do like l.append, append these things, as simple as that. So here I'm trying to append this particular list. So I'm trying to append like a list inside a list. And like I said, so it always try to append at a tail, not at the beginning, not at the middle. It's always try to append at the tail. Now, so if I have to append some data at a particular indexes, so suppose if I wanted to insert a data for sure into a second indexes, maybe on a last indexes, maybe at any point of time I wanted to insert a data at a particular indexes, what I can do is I can try to use basically another method called as insert. So append, always try to append the data in tail, but if I'm using a insert operation, so insert operation try to insert at a particular location. So insert takes two arguments. First one is an index location. So this one is an index location. I'm saying that, okay, fine, do one thing. So insert this data, this 56 at first indexes. This is the meaning. So if you will look into the definition of this insert operation, so it always says that insert object before indexes. This is the definition which it try to say. It takes two arguments. One is an index, another one is an object. So I have given one as an index, another one as an object. So integer object I have given over here. If I'm going to execute it, so you will be able to find out that it has inserted a data on a first indexes as per the instruction that we have given over here. Suppose if I wanted to insert at second position, it will be able to do that as well. So as you can see, it is able to insert a data at the second position. So this is how list try to perform a basic operation. Now method wise, if I'll talk about, so these are so many methods which is available. And like I said, we are having so many things to discuss in terms of a list, which we are going to talk about in our 1.2 section. So this is 1.1 that we are trying to talk about as of now. So fine, it's completely fine, I would say. So we are able to insert a data in this particular list. And this is the list that we are trying to create. And yes, we are able to create this list. Now let's suppose if I wanted to extract a data one by one. So we have seen that with the help of a list slicing operation, so I will be able to fetch a data from any of these indexes. So if I'm saying that list of 0, so it will be able to fetch a data from a 0th indexes. If I'm saying that list of 8, and if I'm going to execute it, so we know that 8 index doesn't exist. We have a data set inside L on 0th, 1, 2, and then 3. So this is the final index. This is available at third indexes. So this is the data set that we have only till third indexes. We are trying to keep indexes equal to 8, and this index is basically like out of range, and that's the reason. So we are able to get this exceptions over here. So index error exceptions, it is trying to give it to me. Now, so we have seen that list slicing operation. So if we have to get our data starting from the 0th indexes, or maybe I can write like a beginning. So beginning is blank as of now, and maybe if I can say like 8. This time, if I'm going to write 8. So this time it will not going to complain at all. So last time you have seen that if I'm going to give list of 8, so it was going to give me complaint that, okay, fine, so this index doesn't exist. Why you are giving this? But here, if I'm going to give like a column or starting from the 0 and go till 8, in this case, it is not going to complain. So whenever you are going to give a range, so in that case, it is not going to complain. But whenever you are not giving a range, whenever you are just looking for a particular indexes, in that case, it will give you an issue. So make sure that, okay, so you're not making this kind of a mistake. So here we have like this list. We are starting from the 0. We are going till 8 indexes. Again, we have seen that step size. Maybe I can give a step size equal to 5. If I'm going to execute it, I will be able to get just one element, because 0 plus 5 is equal to 6. On 6th indexes, we don't have any data set. This is the meaning of this. I can say maybe I can try to like a step size equal to 2, And if I'm going to do that, yes, it's completely fine. So I'm able to get a data from 0th location. I'm able to get the data from 0th plus 2 is equal to 2. So from second location, like a 4th location, I don't have a data set, I can say. So these are the operations. These are the basic slicing operations that we have seen into a forward pass, in a backward pass, and all those things, slicing operations. So we'll try to understand, we'll try to see in a later stage. So here, let's suppose if I have to extract all the data out of this list one by one, and let's suppose if I have to perform some operation, maybe some transformation operation, if I have to perform some addition operation, some multiplication operation, maybe some concatenation operation if I have to perform, right? So how I will be able to extract a data, or how I will be able to get a data one by one out of the list. So let's try to understand that. So there is a loop called as for loop, or I can say there is an iterator called as a for loop, which exists in almost every programming languages. So again, same thing exists even over here. So with the help of that, you will be able to extract a data one by one, and then you will be able to write your data manipulation at that point of time. So fine, I have this list as L. What I can do is I can try to write a for loop to fetch a data set. So what I can do is, so I can write like a for I in what? I in L. L is what? L is our list basically. So basically I'm trying to fetch a data from L. So from L is nothing but this one. So I'm trying to fetch a data from this one. So let's try to get this data one by one, starting from B, C, this one, or maybe in a reverse direction, maybe into some jump order. So in any order, I will be able to fetch a data. So I'm trying to write like a for I in L. So L is basically this entire list. I is a local variable. So now what happens in case of a for loop? So in case of a for loop, what will happen is it will start from the 0th indexes, means it will start from this one. It will go to first index. It will go to second indexes. It will go to third indexes, where we have a data set. So one by one, it will start fetching a data set, I would say. So here I'm saying that for I in L, L is this entire list. So go to L and then start fetching a data one by one. So in a first iteration, whenever it will go for the first data fetch operation, so it will try to fetch a B. So I is equal to B. Now second time, it will try to fetch C. Third time, it will try to fetch 56. Fourth time, it will try to fetch this list itself, I would say. So I value will keep on changing. I is a local variable, I would say, where it will try to fetch a data one by one. It will try to extract a data, and that will be the value of I. So what we are going to do is, so we are going to print I, or maybe I can write some manipulation. So I can try to write like a print I. So one by one, it will start extracting data. So you will be able to see that notation had changed. So previously, we have this kind of a notation. Everything was enclosed within a square bracket. This time, it's not enclosed within a square bracket, except last, because last one was a list itself. So we are trying to fetch it, basically. So this time you will be able to find out that I'm just trying to extract a data one by one. And over here, I can try to write any kind of a logic for this data manipulation, and I will be able to do that individually. So basically, this is how a very simple, as like I'm talking about just a ABCD of Python over here. So this is how, in a simplest possible way, you will be able to get a data set from a collection, or as of now, so from a list. So you will be able to fetch a data set. So this is how it works. This is how it behaves. So again, for loop is been used extensively. Extensively means till like a extent we use a for loop, and we try to perform so many operations based on the for loop. So fine, let's try to understand these operations once again. For loop operation. So here, as you can see, that I have created a list in this particular place, and here I have created a list in which I have a integer. Now, so I'm trying to create another variable called as sum, and inside this sum variable, so I'm trying to assign a value called as 0, as you can see over here. Now, so what I'm trying to do is, so I'm trying to write a for loop. So I'm trying to say that, okay, for val in numbers. So this is the numbers. So this is the list that we have given. Val is a local variable that we are trying to give. You can give any name, my name, your name, doesn't matter at all. So basically I'm trying to say that, okay, fine, for val in numbers. So it will go to numbers, it will start fetching a data one by one. So in a first iteration it will fetch 6, second iteration will fetch 5, third iteration will be 3, then 8, and then 4, and then so on. So it will keep on fetching a data set one by one after another, I can say. So that is completely fine. So we can understand that, yeah, it is able to fetch the data one by one. Now I'm trying to say that for val in numbers, sum is equal to sum plus val. So in a first iteration, so whenever it will try to fetch a data from the 0th indexes. So basically the val will be equal to 6, I can say. So this will be equal to 6, I would say. Val will be equal to 6. Now sum is equal to 0 in a first iteration. So 0 plus 6 is equal to 6. So the new value of sum is equal to 6 in a first iteration. Now it will go to the second iteration, it will try to fetch this 5. Now again, so sum, so this time sum will be 6, val will be equal to 5. So 6 plus 5 is equal to 11. So this time it will be 11. So sum is equal to 11 basically. Now next time again it will go, it will try to fetch another data set, I can say, so 3. So now it will be like 11 plus 3. So 11 plus 3 is equal to 14, I would say. So it is going to give you 14 in this particular cases. So this is how it will keep on going through all of those data one after another. And then I'm just trying to perform this summation operation, a very simple operation I'm trying to perform over here. And finally, I'm trying to print this particular sum. So yeah, this is how I will be able to get data, or this is how I will be able to perform a summation of this entire list element. So likewise, any kind of a manipulation that you can think of inside your brain, so you will be able to do all of those kind of a manipulation with respect to, I can say, a list as of now. But yeah, going forward you will see that with many more things I will be able to perform the similar kind of operation, not only with respect to a list, into many different ways. So you will be able to write a condition, you will be able to traverse a data set into a negative direction, positive direction, everywhere. So fine, this is like as of now a basic of a for loop that we have talked about. So anyone who is having any issue, any concern, so please go for your question, we'll try to clarify. Yeah, question please.
Hi, Sudhanshu. Raj.
Go ahead one by one.
Yeah, Sudhanshu, I have a question regarding, can you please quote some example, the difference between iterable and iterator?
Iterable and iterator is already a part of your chapter. So I think you should look into your dashboard basically. So there is an entire class that I'm going to give you, like what is iterable, what is iterator, how you will be able to make anything as a iterable, or you will be able to make anything as a iterator. So in very detail, we are going to talk about iterable and iterator. So, and again, like a next function, iter function, we are going to talk about, which is like a purely iterable and iterator. So whatever you can think of, right? It's already mentioned in your chapters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Sudhanshu.
Yeah, hi, Sudhanshu. Just a small question. Can you just repeat the append one once again, please?
So append operation is nothing but it's a method, it's a function which try to append a data at the end of the list, basically. So append is a function which is like available with respect to a list. So if I'm trying to append, maybe let's suppose I'm trying to say that SUDH, right? So it will try to append where? So it will try to append a data at the beginning at any point of a time. So let's suppose if you are getting confused this way, right? If I'm trying to write like a L dot append. What is your name? Krishnakant, right? What is your name? Krishnakant, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you will be able to append Krishnakant. Yeah. So this is how append works. So whenever you're trying to append something, you will be able to append at the last. So at the tail point, you will be able to append it. As simple as that. Making sense?
Okay, Sudhanshu, and one more is that if we are using insert method, we are inserting in index location as 2. The previous number is, it will jump into third location or what?
Yeah, it will try to shift into another location. So next one. So I can say that, okay, so I can write like a insert at what? So insert at, maybe I'm trying to insert at first position, right? And what I'm trying to insert, I'm trying to insert my title over here. So here I have inserted Kumar on a first location. So it has shifted basically a previous data set into a next location.
Whatever the sequence location, that all will jump into
Next location basically. Yeah, immediate next location.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
Go ahead.
Say that it's a mutable. List is a mutable, like we can append or insert.
I haven't talked about mutability as of now. So I think it will be better when I'll talk about mutability, immutability. You can ask your question with respect to mutability. See, many of you are from the programming background. So many of you are familiar with the many of the words, right, that you're trying to take as of now. And many people are not aware about all of those words. Many people are starting with the basic of those things. So even if you're going to take those words which you know already, maybe you just heard about the words, maybe you don't know the technicality behind those words. So almost all those things, not almost, more than that, I would say. So almost everything you will be able to find out in the syllabus that we have created. And if you don't believe, so you can, YouTube videos are uploaded from the previous classes. You can go through that. You will be able to get that. So I will be talking about each and everything. But in class, so suppose someone is asking about mutability. If I'll start discussing about mutability, it will take another half an hour. If I'll talk about iterable object, iter function, next function, and all those things, it will take again another half an hour, and people will not be able to understand. So I will try to follow a sequence from my side. Whatever you can think of as a programmer, whatever you have seen in any other languages, so we'll do a proper comparison. This is how I take the classes, and we'll try to give you almost all the example, which will be more than enough to understand any concept, right? So just hold tight. So like, yeah, don't try to exaggerate your knowledge that you have from other programming languages. Sit tight. You will be able to get each and everything inside a Python. I'm not leaving any stone unturned into a Python. Basically, this is how we have created an entire syllabus. So you, so after wrapping up this Python, so you can claim that you have not discussed this things or that thing, and then I think we can talk about that. Yeah. So whatever we are discussing, whatever topics we have taken as of now, so you can try to raise your concern with respect to that topics, and you can try to give me a permutation combination with respect to those topics, that whether this is possible or not, whether that is possible or not. I'll try to show you each and every permutation combination which you can think of ever. Yeah, any one of you. So you can just test me in that way.
We have used append function and added a name. Can we add multiple name also?
Yeah, so let's suppose multiple names you won't be able to add. Let's suppose if I'm giving this way, right? So in this way, it is going to give you an issue. So suppose if you are looking for a multiple addition, so in that case, you can try to include these things within a collection. Within the collection means within a list, right? And in that case, you will be able to append it, and there won't be any problem. So yeah, this is possible.
Yeah. Sudhanshu, do we have arrays in Python?
No, there is no array in a Python code. You will be able to find out array in a package called as NumPy, where array is called as an ND array, n-dimensional array. But in core Python, there is no such arrays concept which exists at all. But yeah, in NumPy package of Python, there is an array in a different way. Yeah.
Hey Sudhanshu, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear everyone.
Deepak here. Deepak here.
I can hear everyone, Deepak.
So you just created a list. I think that's a nested list inside a list.
Yeah.
So I want to access the a second element of that nested list. So how we can access it?
Okay, fine. So you wanted to access basically this element, right?
No, sir. The one you have created before, it's a list inside the list, but you have just removed because someone just asked for.
Okay, this is also a nested list. Just tell me which element you are looking for. I'll tell you. I'll give you that.
Yes, sir. That's a similar one. The second one, sir, FSD,
this one?
FSD, this one.
Okay, so you're looking for this element, right? So again, this is very simple. So just tell me how we'll be able to access this one. So can I say that if I have to access this entire list, so I can write like a list of 1?
Okay.
So if I'm trying to write a list of 1, so I will be able to access this one?
Right?
Yes,
sir, yeah.
And now if I'm able to access this one, so to get the second element, what I should do? So again, can I say it will be 1?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Got it right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi Sudhanshu. Can we assign any type to the list? I want to assign particular type.
List is not having any type. List is having a type itself is equal to list, basically. So list simply means list itself is a data type, I would say. So data type is equal to list. So whenever like I have created this L, so basically if I can write like a type of L, it's basically a list. So you can't assign a type. What kind of a list? So basically you can't create only a.
I want to I want
No.
to have only integers inside that.
Like I said in a very beginning, that you're just supposed to give a data. Python understands all those things by itself. So you will not be able to create only an integer list. You will not be able to restrict from your end. Basically, if you are trying to take only an integer, yes, it will be able to consider that, okay, fine, it's an integer list. Like I said, data type you will not be able to give or assign from your end. It's a Python compiler's responsibility to take care of that. Making sense?
Sudhanshu, Murali here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I use two lists in a single for loop? Let's say I want to compare.
Yes, you will be able to use two lists into a single for loop if you have to do a comparison. Yes, for sure, you will be able to do that. Now, so to do that, so like, okay, so maybe let's suppose if I'm trying to take list L, or in that way, there is a function called as range function. So from 0 to I, you will be able to compare 0 to I. And I'll have to create a second list. So this is my L. Let's suppose I'm trying to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm trying to use like a L1. So there are multiple ways. I'll just try to show you with one or two ways. So we have like 2, 4, 6, 4, suppose 7, 7, fine. So we have basically created this list over here, as you can see, and I can write like for I and j in L comma L1. So here, basically what you can do is there is a function called as a range function. So I can try to write like a range of basically a range of starting from a 0 and maybe go till 4th location, and then I have basically like so you have to do a comparison, right? Whether the element is same or not.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So you can try to write like a range of this one, or you can try to write like a range of length of L or L1, whatever you are looking for. So length of that minus 1, you will be able to write out now. So I have to compare like if L of I can say is equal to L1 of I. If it is not same, so if this is not same, so print that both the list element element is same. Elif. So I can write like elif, or I can write like a else. Simple statement. Int print not the same. So if I'm trying to object type int has nothing called as length. No. So okay, this is L. This should be L. I just given as 1. So it's not same. It's not same. It's not same. It's not same. Making sense? So it is going inside this one. Now, so purposely what I'll do is I'll try to make this as same. So I'll try to make as 2 purposely, right? And in that case, both the list element is same. So because on the second indexes, both the list element is same. So there are many ways I can write the same code in another 10 way as well. And again, as of now, so don't try to understand this range function. I'll tell you like what is the meaning of range function in next class. So in next class chapter, so you have a range function. Yeah, but I can do that. Whatever you can think of. Making sense?
Okay, yes.
Okay, fine.
Can we traverse back?
Yes, yeah, we can traverse back with the help of for loop or without even using a for loop. So basically, like if I have to traverse into a backward direction, I can simply write column -1, like I said. So I'll tell you like.
No. This you have reversed the list. I'm talking about for loop to traverse in backward.
I can do that. I can do that as well. That is not a problem. Like I said, so with the help of for loop or with the help of like this one, in both. You want me to do it with the help of for loop?
I can search it out, but is it possible to traverse?
Everything is possible, whatever you can think of,
Acha.
basically. So I can show it to you. So basically, like from 0, right? And then so print L of, I can say I. It's pretty simple. Length of is equal to 0, and then I can say that. Okay, -1. Got it right? 65432. 65432.
I think it got reversed. 0 to len -1, then -1, correct?
Yeah. So sorry, 0 to.
Yeah, we traverse forward actually. I wanted to traverse backward. Like it will print one
You're
first,
looking for
then
backward, right? So basically,
yes.
Okay. So you're
1,
looking
2,
for
3.
basically, okay, 1, 2, 3. You're looking for, right?
Yes.
Okay, not a problem.
So
Just
we'll
change it.
reverse.
Simple,
0,
change
yeah.
it. Change this
Correct.
one, right?
Yeah. Thanks.
So
Also,
basically, make it as a +1. Yeah.
Can we append inside for loop?
Yes, you will be able to append inside for loop. So like, let's suppose I have a list, right? I have a list L over here. Now, if I wanted to append something inside a for loop, right? What I can write is for I in L, append, right? Append you're looking for. So for I in L, so I can try to call basically L dot append operation and append what? So append my name, let's say. So append SUDH. So it will not I basically, so yeah, it is going for infinite loop interrupt. So basically, suppose I wanted to append some element. So let's suppose I'm trying to add L1. So I'm trying to extract basically element from L1. So I'm trying to append these things into L list. So yes, I can do that. Now if I'm going to print basically L, you will be able to find out that it has appended these things, and then you will be able to get the final result. Interrupt again. Okay, interrupt again. Interrupt is not working. So basically here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to fetch a data from L1 and then I'm trying to append this data into L. So here it should be I, here it should not be L1. And then I'm just trying to print this L over here, that's it. Interrupt, it's not working again. Okay, just restart. Now it will work. Set. Okay, it's not able to find out L1 basically. So for I in L1, yeah, got it right. So whatever data we had inside L1, so it has basically appended inside L. So this is the L which I'm trying to print, but yeah, I can append. So whatever you can think of, so everything is possible. There is like nothing which is impossible.
My question here is can we print the elements of list without using for loop without any space?
Yeah, so without using for loop, so yes, you will be able to do a list slicing, right? So suppose if I have list as this one, L as this one.
No. Can we print the elements of a list using for loop, but without going to the next line?
Without going to the next line means?
Print statement, right? We write print statement, but print statement we
insert it.
Can't go to.
What you're asking? Just tell me clearly. Then only I will be able to do that.
Can we print the elements of list without going to next line?
Without going to next line means?
Without going to output in single line.
He might be asking like a ternary operator in like Java and C.
maybe list comprehension.
This one?
Yes, but in line.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
single line he wants.
in a single line,
In
you are
same
looking for
row.
all
In
those things,
single
right?
row.
Okay, so basically, like there is something called as a ends operation, and there is something called as a separator, right? So suppose if you are looking for in a single line all those things, got it right?
Yes,
So this is how it works. So these are just a permutation combinations. You should keep on doing everything, whatever you can think of, right? Everything is possible. There is nothing called as it's not possible. You just have to practice it. So any other question, anyone? People who are not asking
Yeah,
question,
so
right?
like,
Please be
so
on
like,
mute because I have an option to remove from this particular meeting that we have, and I'll do that immediately. Yeah. So please be in discipline. Fine. Anyone who is having questions,
so
please go for that.
like, when would this video be uploaded on the board? Like by tomorrow
Generally,
morning
we used to give a timeline for 24 hours in general, but yeah, so we'll try to upload it because what happens is in our cases, so we used to convert it into MP4 and then we can upload. So it takes some time basically because like it gets recorded and uploads everything into S3 bucket first of all, and then from there we used to fetch it and then we used to convert it and then we used to upload it. So it takes some time. That's the reason. So we used to give 24-hour time. Within that, it will be available in your dashboard for sure. But yeah, before that, generally we try to upload it. Okay. So any concern, any question, anyone?
Sudhanshu, there's a small if the assignment what we have, I mean, I'm clicking on it. It is getting open in Internet Explorer. I mean,
No,
it's not
so
getting.
basically you're not
I'm not
supposed
getting the
to.
code.
Are you trying to click or are you trying to open up your assignment directly?
Yes, actually.
So like I said in a very beginning, I think you have dropped a mail as well, right, Abhishek?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So basically the problem is you are trying to open up your assignment into a wrong way. First of all, try to launch a Jupyter notebook, and through Jupyter notebook, you are supposed to open it up. So suppose if I have to open up some Jupyter notebook file, which I have inside these things, right? So suppose if I have to open up, suppose this deep learning one, right? So basically, first of all, I'll launch the Jupyter notebook. From here, I'll try to browse it and then I will be able to open it up. So can you please share your screen immediately? I'll try to show you in your system itself.
Just give me a minute because I'm just accessing from phone. Just give me a minute.
Okay, great. Okay, so anyone else who is facing any issue, so you can just let me know. You can try to share your screen. We have next 10 minutes. I will try to take some questions.
Hi, Sudhanshu.
Yeah, this is.
Go ahead, one by one, quick.
Yeah, Sudhanshu, this is Avijit here. Do we have a trinary operator like we have in C?
Yeah, we have trinary operator as well, like C, for sure. We'll talk about some of the example. I have already mentioned all the example in your Jupyter notebook file. You will be able to find out somewhere. But yeah, so we have that operator.
Okay. Can we check the data type at runtime?
Yes, you will be able to check a data type at runtime. That is also possible. So basically, function is TYP. If you are going to type TYP in this way, so you will be able to get a data type into a runtime.
By using a if condition, can we do that?
If we are using
if condition.
So if is basically like not things which will help you to check a data type, right? If is something which try to give you true or false. So if is like there's no relationship in between. Yeah. So there is a function called as type by which you will be able to check the data type. Why you will use if to check a data type? Okay.
Because
so yeah.
Hey Sudhanshu,
there could
Kanan
be
here.
mixed.
Yeah, go ahead, Kanan.
Just a small doubt with the GitHub profile. I just made
Okay.
my GitHub profile and this is how it looks like. This is the folder.
Fine.
I'm just facing an issue when I'm like actually, uploading the file. Say suppose I upload some file, I give it some name while like, okay. So I need to choose my Python file over here, right? Any of the files, say.
Exactly.
Something I'm
Yeah.
just choosing it. Yeah. Then I'm committing the changes. How do I get the URL? Oh shit.
So URL will be your URL that you will be able to see your browser. Simple. That URL.
The same, just this
Same
thing
URL.
I need to copy and paste it.
Yeah, copy and paste
need
it.
to copy and paste it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Sudhanshu, Abhishek
Yeah.
here.
Go ahead,
May I
Abhishek.
share my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Just give me a minute. Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
How about now?
No.
Hi, Sudhanshu, this is Sunny here. Can I ask a question in between?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I have seen the assignment and I can see that the question number 5 is missing. Can you check that if possible? All the questions are there, but only question 5 is not there. So I thought maybe I should check that.
Which one?
In the assignment, sir. In the assignment that you have uploaded.
Okay, question 5 is not there.
Yes, sir. Yeah, please check that if possible. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So I'll check that one. Yeah, I think I have given all those things in a sequence, but I didn't.
Yes, sir. I've seen that, but everything is there. Only question number 5 is missing. So if you want, I can show you.
Okay,
after
fine.
this.
Show it to me. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Abhishek, so can you please try to open up your Jupyter?
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, I can see your screen, but I think I'm trying to see some weird things over here. It's not in a proper format.
Okay, so I've
Can you please share your desktop? Basically, just try to click on share and try to pick a first option. Can you choose first
just
option?
doing that only.
Okay, can you please reshare the screen? Just stop sharing and share it again.
Yeah, I'm just doing that. I mean, I'm doing resume share.
Okay, Bharat is saying that create a below pattern using a nested for loop in Python. So this is the question that you're talking about, Bharat? Hello?
Has asked that fifth question is not there, right? This is the fifth
No,
question.
this is the fifth question.
Yeah, it was there.
Yeah, it is there. Yeah, it's already there. Yeah.
Which one, sir?
This one. I'm just trying to
Star pattern is there.
ping it to everyone. So there is a star pattern, right? This question is already there, I think. Yeah.
Just wait, sir.
I have just pinged you. Okay, fine. So Abhishek, just try to launch your Jupyter Notebook first of all. You know how to launch Jupyter Notebook, right?
Yeah, now my screen is visible.
Sorry. Yes, your screen is. Yeah, it's visible. Yes, visible.
Okay. So I'm inside my Jupyter Notebook. Yeah. Yeah, what to do next?
Okay. So just try to go to your file that you have downloaded, assignment or whatever file you have downloaded. So through your Jupyter Notebook, so you will be able to find out your home page, right? First tab of Jupyter Notebook that you are able to see. Or just give me a control. I'll try to control your system. I have just requested for control. Just release the control. Yeah. Have you done that?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Done.
Now leave your mouse. I'll just try to control from my end. Okay. So basically your internet is a bit slow. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just trying to click your home page.
Is it working? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to click your home page. Your internet is a bit slow. So just go to your home page. This one. Yeah. Now from here, so you must have downloaded that file, right? Which I've shared with you. So you can click on this download. I'm just trying to click your download folder.
You want to go? You want me to go to the file?
Now, yeah, file. So wherever you have downloaded this file, so I think it should be in your download folder.
It's in downloads.
Yeah. Go to downloads.
Just a minute. Yeah, this is.
No, go to your downloads.
Downloads.
Or wherever wherever you have stored your file, right? Assignment 1 basically. So just go to that location from there. Yeah, so I can see it's in a download. So just go to your Jupyter Notebook.
Okay.
Yeah, go to your Jupyter Notebook, and from Jupyter Notebook, so just try to browse that file. Not from here, not from directory, from Jupyter Notebook.
You need to close this, buddy.
Yeah, so just reshare your screen, go to your Jupyter home location. From there, go to downloads. From there, you will be able to browse that file. It's very simple. You will be able to open up. This is how.
Okay, I'm not. My internet is a bit slow actually.
Yeah, that's the reason. So you are facing any problem, but yeah, it's very.
Okay, I'm so
basic.
sorry for that. Okay, yeah, I got it. I got it now.
Are you able to open it up?
I got it now. I have to click from. Yeah. Okay.
Great then.
Thanks.
So the way I used to open
Okay,
up, right? Suppose if I have to open some file, right? So what I used to do is I go to download first of all. I used to launch my Jupyter Notebook first of all, right? And from Jupyter Notebook, so I used to go to downloads or wherever I have I have my file, Jupyter Notebook file, right? So I used to go through that one, and then I used to click on that IPNE file. Simple. And then I will be able to open it up. Don't try to open up your Jupyter Notebook file directly. You will be able to open up that file, but yeah, it will not be available into a readable format. Fine, making sense? Yeah. So again, guys, anyone who is having an issue?
Yeah. So Sudhanshu, I think everybody is done, right? If you remember, I sent you a mail that there is a particular assignment which was reversing the string, was not working on the Jupyter Notebook, right? Remember that? So now, just now, within this class, when I tried again and it's working, what would be the reason? Because you won't believe, there is one of our other colleague in this class, Ved Prakash, he also tried, and the Jupyter, it was not working, but it was working in Spider or other
it will work even in Jupyter. It will work even in Jupyter. I remember your question because I have answered to your question basically. And it will work all the time without any if and but. Sometime what happens is, so whenever you open up a Jupyter Notebook for a very long time, right? So basically because of the cache memory, so it tried to give you some weird response, a weird result. That's the reason. So in a very first class, I used to say that you will get stuck. Yeah. So whenever you are getting this weird kind of output, right? This is the problem for the Jupyter Notebook. It's not a problem with the other IDE. I can say PyCharm or Spider or other thing. So in case of Jupyter Notebook, if you are getting those weird response, so in that case, just restart. In that way, restart and run or restart and clear output. So in that way, it will try to clear out the cache memory, and then you will be able to get the answer that you are looking for.
I agree, Sudhanshu. But the person, I just had a call with one of our colleagues here in this class, and I discussed with him the same code, and he also struggled. Wait, if you're online, you can confirm, right? So he also tried in Jupyter in Delhi. And he was also not able to run. And then he only told me that I tried in other ID and it's working. Then I go to the Spider, I tried, it's working. Now,
actually, I have secreted your code in Jupyter Notebook. It was working in the first time.
Yeah. The crux is, right now when I tried the same code, I just compile it and it is working now. Now on the same assignment. It's weird. It's really weird.
Sometimes because of kernel cache memory, that's the reason in the very first class I used to show this option, this kernel option.
Yeah, I know. Right. I know that.
Because I know that this is the problem which people are going to face for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So I used to clarify this. It will work, not a problem.
Anyways, good that it is working.
Hello, Sudhanshu.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just I want to ask that today in list you said that how can we reverse it? Can you explain it once more?
So reverse split string wise, I have not explained actually how it is reversing. So I'll talk about these things into a next class. Basically, how exactly it's working. So with respect to indexing operation, so I'll talk about more and more indexing operation and more list slicing operation. And in next class, it will be very clear that how this particular variable behaves or how this particular location behaves in terms of traversing a list into a reverse direction or into a forward direction. So it will be very clear in that way. Because I will be using a scale, and based on a scale, I will be talking about those things. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sudhanshu, the Python class, how long it will be? From this Saturday and Sunday, we'll be having
deep learning classes. So I will be starting with the TensorFlow in general. So Python class, I think it will go for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Right, and in between, so I'll upload some videos as well, pre-recorded videos, so that you can watch all those videos and you will try to get all the concepts. Because I would say in a deep learning, so many people are there who already know Python. They have already a part of machine learning, and in machine learning, so I have already discussed Python in very detail, right? So that's the reason. So I'm just keeping this class, so that Python class separately and deep learning class separately. Yeah. And don't worry about the classes. I'll try to give you as much class as possible, live classes, and I'll try to minimize the pre-recorded video upload. right? Because many people want a live discussions, so I'll try to give that. Yeah.
So Sudhanshu, have you published the calendar for next ML class, which you said that second week of Feb?
No, I have not published in our first week. So by first or second, we are going to publish. Me and Chris is going to publish that one.
Okay, thank you.
So within, I think 3 to 4 days, we'll publish. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks.
So, sir,
okay,
like
everyone.
the Python classes will go for 2-3 weeks, and
three weeks minimum, not 2 weeks.
Simultaneously, we'll need to do this deep learning part also.
Yeah, so like from Saturday, so this Saturday, so I'm going to like kick off this deep learning. Yeah, so I'll start with the basic of deep learning, where there will not be a dependencies in between Python that we are talking about. So we'll be on the same page and we'll start. Yeah.
Sudhanshu, tomorrow we'll have deep learning doubt clearing, is it? Because the session is not started, right?
Yeah, so deep learning, doubt clearing, but what doubt we will clarify?
Exactly.
We have not taken any deep learning. So what I'll do is I'll maybe just try to cancel tomorrow's class because there is nothing to discuss in doubt clearing session, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So fine, everyone. Fine, guys. Like see you again on the next class. So fine, let's try to practice each and everything, whatever we have discussed. As of now, it's nothing almost we have discussed, right? We have just started. So just familiarize yourself with all those things that we have done so far, so forth, so that at least you will be comfortable with the dashboard that we have, with the Jupyter notebook that we have shared, right? And then we will be able to get some speed. Yeah.
Hello, Hussein here. Sharan, so are we going to use throughout the course? Are you going to use the Windows OS or for the Python training?
No, so I have basically 2 systems as of now. I have a Mac, I have like this Windows. Sometimes I use Mac, sometimes I use Windows.
The question is not about actually, as you said, for the production, when compared to Jupyter Notebook and the PyCharm, finally we need to go to for PyCharm anyway, because the production, this is the useful tool. Same like in the voice kind of things, I hear that Windows is not a voice for the machine learning or deep learning.
Yes.
If it is true, if you while training itself, you show the commands in the Linux, so we'll learn.
Don't worry about that. We have already planned. This is not the first batch we are running. It's been 4 years since we are running all those things, right? So don't worry about that. We'll take care of those things, whatever you're looking for. Yeah, and whatever is required to get you on that level. So don't worry about all those stuff. Yeah. It's our regular job since last 4 years, day and night. Okay. Fine, everyone. Thank you.
And the one more thing, if some people, as you said, working in machine learning project or something, if you get something in our day-to-day life, like how you'll get some prompt response or something, like is there any option? Because we just now we started as now we are in Python, but some people working in the real-time project. But even though they are not 100% knowledgeable, also by they are trying to learn from all these things. So the question is, if there is someone facing a real-time project and they need some assistance from your side, is it possible?
First of all, you will learn the basic things, right? Without learning the basic things, what real-time project you can solve, right? So first of all, just try to learn these things. All those projects that we have mentioned is a real-time itself, whether it's a machine learning or deep learning, that's to use. If you are a part of machine learning, you will see it in some day, for sure. If you are a part of deep learning, again, you will see it in next 3 months, I would say. Right. So first try to learn. Everything is a real time here. So we don't try to give like just a bogus project, copied and pasted from some KL competition or somewhere. Right. So yeah, that will come into picture. And after that, so yes, you will be able to get a support from our end because we understand that you are going to face a problem. Yeah.
Sudhanshu, I have one question. For NLP, in NLP, what is the real time? You have said that WhatsApp chatbot and all. So how industry is using WhatsApp chatbot?
We'll talk about that. When we'll come to chatbot is basically not a part of deep learning. It's part of machine learning, I would say. So we used to talk about that, and we used to build it basically in a class itself, a different kind of a chatbots. Yeah, in a 4 platform like Google Dialogflow, Rasa NLU, like Amazon Lex, Azure Lois, and all those things. So fine, we'll come to that point in machine learning. Yeah.
Sudhanshu, I was having a problem uploading into GitHub. I mean, what happened that I have uploaded, then I did some amendment and I wanted to re-upload. I'll send you, in the interest of time, I'll write you a mail on that, right? Thank you.
Yeah, sure, write a mail. So if you're facing any upload issue, I don't think that it's an issue, but yeah, try this out and just a file upload, right? So
Sure. I'll write you.
So I think I'm responding back to everyone's mail within 24 hours.
Right.
I
appreciate. At
So
least
within-
I'm very much comfortable. Thank you
yeah,
very
so
much.
I'll keep on responding back within 24 hours. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fine,
very much.
everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Bye bye, Sudhanshu.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thanks.
It's a
Bye.
nice time.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Sudhanshu. Good night.
Thank you. Bye bye, Sudhanshu. Thank
Bye.
you.
Yeah.